I didn't think much of the job when I first took it. Night security, empty building, easy money. That's what they told me. And honestly, I needed the cash more than I needed comfort. Still, something felt off the moment I arrived. Not fear, exactly. Just that quiet, pressing feeling like you stepped somewhere you weren't supposed to be. The building itself was older than I expected. Concrete walls, narrow corridors, no windows in the lower levels, just long stretches of dim lights that hummed softly like they were alive. The supervisor barely spoke to me. He handed me a key card, pointed down the hallway, and said, "Control room's at the end. Read the paper." That was it. No tour, no explanation. Just read the paper. I remember thinking that was weird, but I shrugged it off. First nights are always messy. Then I walked into the control room and saw it. A single sheet of paper taped to the desk, yellowed, folded at the corners, like it had been handled too many times by people who didn't want to touch it. At the top, written in thick black marker, 10 rules for the night security guard. I actually smiled. Like, seriously? Rules? For sitting in a chair and watching cameras? But I picked it up anyway. Rule 1. Never leave the control room between 1:15 a.m. and 1:30 a.m. Okay, fine. Break time restriction. Makes sense. Rule 2. If you hear footsteps in the hallway, do not check the cameras. That one made me pause. Why not check? Isn't that the whole job? I kept reading. Rule 3. If the lights flicker 3 times, close your eyes and count to 10. Now I frowned. That wasn't normal. That wasn't safety protocol. That was something else. Still, I kept going. Rule 4. If someone knocks on the door, do not open it, even if they say your name. A small chill ran down my spine. I told myself it was just someone messing with new hires. It had to be. Rule 5. The cameras in Sector C will go dark at 2 a.m. Do not attempt to fix them. And then I reached the line that made everything feel heavier. Rule 6. If you feel like one of these rules is lying, it is. I stared at that sentence longer than I should have, because it didn't just sound strange. It sounded like a trap. One rule is lying. Which one? And how are you supposed to know? I looked around the empty room. The monitors buzzed softly, rows of screens showing empty hallways, storage rooms, stairwells. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I set the paper down. Just a joke, I told myself. That's what I told myself, because the alternative didn't make sense. I sat down, leaned back, and started watching the screens. For a while, nothing happened. Minutes passed, then an hour. Silence settled in like dust. At exactly 12:47 a.m., one of the monitors flickered. Just once. Sector B. I leaned forward. The empty hallway looked the same. Long, empty, pale light stretching across the floor. I almost ignored it. Then I remembered Rule 3. 3 flickers, not 1. So I kept watching. A few seconds later, it flickered again. Twice. My fingers slowly tightened around the edge of the desk. And then, the 3rd flicker. My chest went tight. Rule 3. Close your eyes and count to 10. I hesitated, because this was ridiculous. But also, what if it wasn't? Slowly, I shut my eyes. 1, 2, 3. Each second felt longer than the last. By the time I reached 10, the air felt colder, heavier. I opened my eyes, and something was wrong. Not obvious. Not dramatic, just wrong. The camera angles had shifted slightly, like someone had nudged them just a few inches, but enough to feel off. Then I saw it. In Sector B, a figure, standing in the hallway. Tall, still, facing directly into the camera. I froze. There hadn't been anyone there before. No doors opened, no alarms triggered, just appeared. My throat went dry. I reached for the radio. Static. Nothing but static. Then the figure moved. Not walking. Not stepping. Just gone. One frame. Gone. My heart started pounding harder now. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't normal. Then, knock. Soft. From the control room door. My entire body locked. Rule 4. Do not open it. Another knock. Louder. Then a voice. My voice. Hey, open up. Every instinct screamed at me to stay still. That wasn't possible, but the voice kept talking. Come on, it's B. Don't be stupid. I backed away slowly. The knocking stopped. Silence returned. Then, a slow scratching sound. Fingernails dragging across metal. I covered my mouth, didn't move, didn't breathe. And just like that, it stopped. Gone. I stayed frozen for what felt like forever, then slowly turned back to the monitors. And that's when everything got worse. Sector C was completely dark. Not like a broken camera, not like lost signal. It looked blocked, like something was pressed right up against the lens. Something solid. Something breathing. I leaned closer without thinking, and for a split second, I saw movement. A shift inside the darkness, like something noticing me noticing it. I jerked back immediately. Nope, I whispered. Rule 5. Do not attempt to fix it. That rule suddenly felt very real. But then my mind went back to Rule 6. One rule is lying. So what if this one was? What if I was supposed to check? That thought stuck in my head longer than it should have. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Outside. Slow. Measured. Getting closer. My chest tightened instantly. Rule 2. Do not check the cameras. But now I understood something. If one rule is lying, then following it blindly could kill me. The footsteps stopped right outside the door. Silence. Then something strange happened. A whisper. From the speakers. Inside the room. Don't look. I felt my stomach drop. That wasn't on the paper. That wasn't part of the rules. That was something else. Something watching me. Thinking. Reacting. I swallowed hard, then made a decision. I checked the cameras. Sector A. Empty. Sector B. Empty. Then Sector D. My breath caught. The control room door was visible on that screen, and standing outside it was me. Same clothes, same posture, same face. But something was wrong. It was smiling. Too wide, too slow, like it was learning how to be human and failing. I looked at the real door. Nothing. No shadow, no movement. Then I looked back at the screen. The thing lifted its hand and knocked. At that exact second. Knock. The real door echoed the same sound. Perfect timing, perfect sync. My thoughts started unraveling. This wasn't random. This was planned. The rules weren't protection. They were a game, a test, or worse, a guide for something trying to replace me. The door handle moved, slowly, turning on its own. The lock clicked. I never touched it, but it unlocked anyway. The door creaked open just slightly. Darkness slipped in first, then a hand. My hand. Gripping the edge, pulling it wider. And then it stepped inside. Not me. Not really. But close enough to fool anyone. Its eyes were empty. Its smile stretched too far. Its movements slightly delayed, like a reflection that didn't quite match. It tilted its head, studying me. Curious, patient, hungry. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. Then it whispered softly. Rule 6 wasn't lying. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. It stepped closer, closer, until it was right in front of me. Then it leaned in and said, "You were." The lights went out instantly. Every screen died. The room collapsed into darkness. And in that final second, I understood everything. The rules weren't written to save me. They were written by someone before me. Someone who figured it out too late. Someone who got replaced. Just like I was about to be. The last thing I remember before everything disappeared was sitting back in that chair. Alive. Alone. The monitors glowing again. The room exactly as it was before. Like nothing happened. Except one thing. The paper. I looked down at it. Same rules. Same writing. But now there was something new. At the bottom. Fresh ink. Still wet. In my handwriting. Rule 11. If you make it to morning, you're not the one who entered. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. I started shaking because I didn't remember writing it, but I knew it was true. Deep down, I knew. Something had already changed. Something had already taken my place. And I was just leftover. A memory. A warning. I looked at the monitors again, and for a split second, I saw myself, standing in the hallway, smiling, watching the control room, waiting. Then the image disappeared. Static. Silence. Normal again. But I understood now. The job was never to guard the building. It was to survive the night. And no one does. Not really. Because sooner or later, something walks in, and something else walks out. And the worst part, morning always comes. The next guard always arrives, and the rules are always waiting. Exactly where they can be found. Exactly where they can be followed. Or misunderstood. Just like I did. And when they read Rule 6, they'll think they still have a choice. They won't. Because by then, it's already watching them, learning them, becoming them. Just like it became me.